Hey, have you seen the controversy about the Prime Lite having bad quality control? In this video I'm going to answer all the questions I've had in the comments from my other videos so far, for people who are interested in this Prime Lite cockpit. First up, the quality control issues. I've had multiple comments from people who've had a recent batch of GT Amiga Prime Lites, getting in touch because they couldn't work out how to mount the wheel deck. The issue is that the profile hasn't been threaded properly here, so this part can't be screwed in correctly into the profile. So multiple people in the comments with a half-built Prime and they're unable to use it. It's a new product, so I think we can expect some teething issues. Last night someone left a comment that GT Amiga has dispatched them a Prime wheel deck as a replacement, so I think that's really good, and hopefully everyone who's had these issues are now up and racing. There are also a lot of comments about the seat slider, and I'll get into that further into the video. The next questions are around stock and deliveries. It looks like the Prime Lite is made and shipped from China. Currently, when I looked this morning, it was saying restock for the 18th of April. So anybody who's waiting on parts, I don't know if you're going to get it quicker than that. The next question is around monitor mounting. You could in theory get a mount that attaches to the uprights of the wheel deck, but it's not, I wouldn't recommend it, because look, while it is very stable, if you have multiple monitors mounted to this, it's going to add a lot of top weight, which is going to be wobbling, I reckon, when you're using the wheel a lot, especially if you're moving your body around and braking. So for me, I think I'm doing okay at the moment with my wooden construction that I made, which I'll put on the overlay. If I do upgrade, I'll get the freestanding monitor mounts, because they don't increase the width of the profile that much, because you only got the legs on the outside. The next question is about the pedal tray, and as you can see, I've only actually managed to bolt it in 3 positions. So we've got 2 underneath, and then the one on the brake. The reason for this, because it's actually really infuriating that because these go vertically, unless your bolt holes align directly with your bolts at the back, this is never going to work very well for you. If it was horizontal, then you would almost certainly be able to find holes at the right spacing. So I do think that this is by far the biggest weakness of the product. I know this has been covered in other reviews. Some people have been asking about seat flex, and yeah, it's quite significant. Interestingly, when I'm driving I can't really notice it or feel it, but if I was to push hard, you can really see how the seat flexes. For me, it's not a major problem. In the price range that this seat's in, I think it's a very good seat. If you were really concerned about the flex, then I would definitely recommend going with a bucket seat instead. Any seat that has the ability to recline, I think, would be similar. As you can see, it does move, but when I'm driving, I don't notice it at all. There are quite a lot of comments about seat installation and how difficult it is with the RS12. The trick of it I showed in my previous video. What you've got to do is get the small Allen key, small black Allen key, and that will fit just under the seat, and you can use that to tighten the Allen key once you've tightened it by hand. If you use a small black Allen key, it's really not a big deal, but if you don't know to use that Allen key, it's probably quite irritating. You can also use alternative seats on the Prime Lite. There's no reason why you need to get the GT Amiga seat. As I said, if you wanted a bucket seat, then there's lots of other good alternatives which would have zero flex at all. For me, I wanted the recline because I felt like it would maybe give me a little bit more comfort and allow me to get exactly the right angle that I wanted. But if you saw my last video, I've actually added a universal seat mount from Track Racer to this instead of the original profile, so that I can tilt the seat base, and that's had a big impact actually on the comfort level overall. If you were to get a bucket seat, you would get bucket seat brackets, and they also have a tilt ability, so you can set the whole bucket seat back, but what you can't do is obviously set the angle separately. So if you've got a bucket seat that you're comfortable with, or another seat, gaming chair that you already use, you can almost certainly fit it to the Prime Lite. So because the Prime's aluminium profile, if you can mount the seat in a straight line with 2 holes on either side, then you can almost certainly make your seat fit, because you can space these apart as much as you like. Next question is seat height and adjustability. So the stock installation of the Prime has this as the mounting bracket, which the seat sits on. So for me, I've replaced it with the universal track mount, which I'll show in an overlay, which is roughly the same height as this. But you also have the option to sit it on its side if you want it lower, or take it away completely. So you've got at least 10 centimetres there of height adjustability, so probably 4 centimetres and then 10 centimetres. And if you want to go higher, all you can do is just get another piece of profile that's bigger, or put some seat mount brackets on top. Another question that was close to my heart: what is the actual width and depth when you're using the Prime Lite? Because I know people are trying to squeeze this into relatively small spaces in some cases. I've put this backrest against the door and I've measured it end to end, and for me that's 155 centimetres length, and then the width from the widest part, which is where the handbrake and gear shifter attaches, is 72 centimetres width. So if you're thinking of buying the GT Amiga Prime Lite, I hope this has been helpful. If you've got any more questions, leave them down in the comments. Thanks, and I hope to see you racing.